I guess our overall policy as a band was always to try and sound as much as like the original recordings as possible. There are moments where we can have a bit of license to add our own interpretation, but once again, I mean, that interpretation is probably derived from listening to Gilmour and all those bootlegs and live recordings, and we tend to, you know, obviously you want the solo to sound like it's at a Pink Floyd show, but an improvisation. You don't want to suddenly dive into a Eddie Van Halen, you know, which would, people would be throwing bottles at you, you know.
I've seen other bands do that, where they'll, for example, in Brick in the Wall, where they'll play the original solo first, and then you'll get a bit of a keyboard solo, and then another guitarist will come in and just start shredding over the top of it, and it just seems a bit tasteless. When I do that, I try and put a solo together out of the extra bits that Gilmour's done live, and then that way it still keeps it within the boundaries. It's my own solo, but within the boundaries of Gilmour. I think that's the remit, isn't it?
Yeah, precisely. And I think because we're influenced so much, that's probably going to happen anyway. You know, we just take that for granted, really.
Yeah.
But it's the right thing to do, because everyone has come to hear Pink Floyd, not to hear Van Halen. So.
Yeah, the moment one of us starts doing sort of tapping on stage, it's going to be an awkward night in the two of us too.
Yeah.
Talks to the river, I've lost love and dedication, and silent replies, a swirl invitation.
That's a good question. I think on a lot of them it is the original album recording. We've always tried to attain the sound as well of the original recording, but there are probably 10–20% of the songs that we do where we have actually drawn from the live version, because it just seems to be in a more suitable format for a live.
Oh, I'd agree with that. I mean, it's obviously something like Comfortably Numb, the end solo in Comfortably Numb, it has a fade out on the original, so you have to, to extend it, you have to take from various bits and pieces, and that's constantly evolving. I mean, even just the other night, we added in another section. Both me and Steve were sitting in the dressing room listening to a bootleg from a gig in '94 somewhere. Where was it? In Sweden or Norway? Norway, yeah, it was in Norway. It was a bootleg from Norway, and there was a couple of beautiful phrases in it, and I said, oh, we've got to get that in, and before you know it, it was knocking on everyone's door saying, we're adding another section in before that bit tonight, and it was, it worked out quite nicely.
It did, yes, tasty. yeah, it was good.
It was good. So, I mean, but that's just one example. Eugene, I'd say, is another example where, you've got to pull it out from various different sources. One source will not do.
Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine.
So using Comfortably Numb as an example, all I had to do was, I mean, we're not bound by stuff. I mean, we can change things, but it's courteous to tell the crew when you do it.
So it's a combination. We've got opportunity there to expand, but other stuff is very rigid and set in stone, because everything else around it, and there's lasers and everything can be all connected together and synced up, so that hopefully it looks as it should as well as sound when you come and see it.
It's a bit of both, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.